Well, good morning, Giordano. Man, it's so good to see you again. It seems like it's been forever.
Same. So good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So for those that will be watching, this is a good friend of mine, Giordano Carretta from Italy. He's got a much better accent than I could ever try. But we're going to talk a little bit about the mindset of a champion and kind of where you started, where your dreams were, and where you're at today. And, how we met was on the beach, in the sand, professional football-y. And I think I was brought in to help officiate, and I was terrified. I was like, oh, I don't know the sport, but I know beach and some similar rules, and you guys were teaching me.
You did actually better than the real referee, so we're like really happy with you.
Oh, thank you. It was a real privilege, a lot of fun at Huntington Beach there. But, we want to get to know you better. We want to get to know kind of where you started, what some of your life history is, to all the way to today as an entrepreneur. So I'll open the floor to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here with you, and so good to see you after a long time.
I know.
So for me, I was just born and raised in Italy, and I only had one dream when I was a kid, very simple. I wanted to play soccer. And my whole life, since I was 4 years old, I started playing. And I play every day. I even pick every school that I pick. It was because it was next to the soccer field, so I could train after. And I dedicated my whole life until I was like 15, 16 to soccer. That's all I did. And it's crazy because pretty much I made it. To the professional level. I was about to sign up for a huge club in Italy. Everything was going great, and then I got injured. They got rid of me, and my life started going like really down because I was just a kid, so I didn't have the mindset that we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah.
So instead of it took me a long time to come back and playing. So instead of fighting, I just gave up. I stopped going to school. I stopped doing bad things, hanging out with the wrong people. Pretty much, I gave up on my life because I felt like my whole dream that I worked my whole life for, it was taken away and I couldn't play. And in Italy, that's the age where you go professional. When 15, 16, they get you, and then you do all the thing. After it's too late. So I knew I missed the train, and so I tried, after 4 years of complete dark, where I literally almost gave up on myself. I started to get my life back, but it was so hard. I didn't want to go to college, get a degree and stuff like that. So in 2012, I was 24 years old, and I had no degree, didn't know anybody, no skills, and I just wanted to go far away from Italy to forget about all that stuff. And that's when I came here in the US in 2012 in California. I only knew one person. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have family, barely spoke the language. And
now look at you. It's perfect English.
Not perfect yet, but I try my best. But yes, it's improved a lot. And when I came here, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I only knew one person that he was working in an Italian restaurant, and he helped me a lot. I stayed on his couch for almost a year until I got settled. So I am very grateful. His name is Daniele.
Mm-hmm.
And I started I came here because I say in America, it's the American dream. You can make money with as long as you work hard. In Italy, it was not that possible. So I started working in Italian restaurants. I started as a busboy. Eventually, I became a server, and then I started coaching the kids for soccer. So I said maybe if I can pursue my dream, I can teach the kids how to do that. And it was a very rewarding, very fulfilling job. I loved it. The only problem with those two things, it was very low pay.
Yeah.
So I struggled a lot. Instead of making money the first 3-4 years, I actually got into a lot of that because California life, you know how expensive it is. Having a car, having insurance, having the bill, it's very hard to do it with a traditional job. And instead of making money, I accumulated over $30,000 in that. And then it was at a point where should I go back? If I keep being here, I cannot even pay my bills, and I keep accumulating that. And that's where I got introduced to entrepreneurship, network marketing, and it changed my life. That was in 2015. And today made me the person that I am today.
I remember on the sands of Huntington Beach from, in fact, we had coffees together, and I know you were having espresso and I was drinking this bad American coffee, but but we were talking, about dreams and goals, and you told me that one day I'm determined I will be an entrepreneur. I will help others to be entrepreneur. And, it's all talk. But that's where it starts from. It starts from dreams. It starts from talk. And next thing you know, hard work, effort, and here you are today. I could not be more proud of you.
Thank you.
As a fellow entrepreneur, but also a fellow beach lover. All that's fun, but it's a kind of a hobby. It's hard to make money at that business unless it's scaled, but even that gets a little chaotic. So I'm happy that you worked hard, for your goals and your dreams. And I have to ask, because, there's so much talk about mindset today. We hear it in podcasts, we hear it from the stage and in presentations all the time. Gio, how important is having a champion mindset to you, and how does it affect your everyday life?
I mean, it's everything. The mindset is like one of the most important things to achieve success, because it's easy to take action when everything is good. When you feel good, you wake up, you're motivated, and you take action. But we all know that nobody's motivated every day, and they always teach us just do what you love and you'll never work a day. It's, we know it's not true, because the success is done when you do the things that you don't want to do it and you do them anyway.
Yeah.
The day that you wake up and you don't want to make that call, you don't want to take the action, but you do it anyway because you have the discipline of doing it. Because that's what the champions do. You think Cristiano Ronaldo wants to train every day, all day, and shoot the same free kick? No, he just does it because he wants to be the best in the world, and he does it every day whether he wants it or not. And I think that's one of the most important things, even in business. Some people call that even the prey drive, right? I learned that from Coach Michael Bird, which is such a big inspiration for me. And he talks about this, that we all have inside of us, the prey drive instinct. So the instinct of going after what we want and not stopping until we get it, right? Exactly like a predator. And I think that's what a champion needs to have. That mindset of okay, remember when we met? I want to do that. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I want to be financially free. I didn't want to work for anybody and want to travel the world. So, and I'm not stopping until I get it, even if it takes me 10 years, because then you realize that the best part is not even when you get there, when you achieve your goals, but it's your journey on pursuing the goals that make you alive every day, And I want to live my life always pursuing something. And that's the mindset of a champion. You're always after something, and you're always doing your best to go after what you want,
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, we just came off of watching the Olympics and everything, and, these are the best of the best in every sport at the Olympics. And to your point, they wake up intentional every single day. They're willing to do the things that nobody else wants to do consistently.
Right.
Whether people are watching them or not, they get up, they do it, they get up early, they stay late, they eat right, they do everything for that one Olympic moment. That one Olympic moment, it could be a 2-minute race, it could be whatever it is, swimming, and then it's over. Now what do? So my question is, let's say you reach a certain goal or goals, you become a certain level of entrepreneur that you've always wanted. You have that mindset, you work hard every single day. Now you accomplish it. Now what? What do we do next? Do you find it challenging to maintain that level of championship mentality even after you accomplish your goal?
That's a really good question, because this changed my life, because when I started and I didn't have nothing, I was broke, I was a busboy, I was in a lot of that. My dreams were I have a certain income that I wanted to make, a car that I wanted to drive, a place that I wanted to live, some places that I wanted to visit that I've never been because they were too expensive. And I wrote everything on a whiteboard when I was literally broke, and I look at those goals every single day. After a few years, I literally accomplished every single thing that was there. And back to your question, we're what's next?
Right.
That made me realize, because I thought those were the best goals in my life, that once I achieve them, I don't need anything else. I'm happy. But when I got there, I'm okay.
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. No, well, I mean, I've accomplished everything. Does it have to stop here? And I realized what I was telling you before, that life, it's not about accomplishing those things. It's the journey that you have to get there. And then I'm I need to continue this. So then I need to step up. I need new goals, new vision, new things, And obviously you had to, change a lot of things to go even higher. You have to change the people that you listen to, the people you hang out with, the books that you read. And you always have, like, you realize that life, it's all about getting better every single day and going after something bigger, but not because you're never happy with what you have. It's because if you're not going after anything, you're dead, Yeah. When people say, "Oh, I want to retire early," I'm like, that would be like the worst nightmare for me. Like, if I retire early, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, I want to live with the purpose of going after something until the last day I'm here. And even if I don't need the money or I don't need the goal, it's like, even for contribution, you always have to have something to live for. Otherwise, like, what are we here for?
That's so true. And, Gio, you mentioned something that really hits home with me. It really resonates with me, is our association. Who we choose to hang out with, not just socially, but business-wise as well. And I think there's a saying that you are the 5 people that are closest to you that you hang out with.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's
it couldn't be more true, because, like, it's crazy. When I was broke, like, I learned that, and I surrounded myself with people that were, earning the income that I want to make. And next thing you know, like, after a few years, I was one of them. Mm-hmm. But to go higher level, I had to, even get higher and pursue different friendship, different level of people, investing. Sometimes, like, you have to pay to be in the room with those people. I've invested a lot of money in personal development, mastermind courses, and I still do every single year, because I know how important it is to be in an environment where you're the smallest one and everybody's, like, more successful than you. And that's what pushed me every day, because, like, I feel like so small comparing to, like, other people, and that pushed me, like, always to be better. So that's really, really true. The 5 people you hang out the most with are the most influential in your life, and whether you like it or not, you're gonna end up, like, pretty much like them. So be careful who you hang out with.
There you go. And what's the phrase in food? You are what you eat.
Yeah.
What you take in, garbage out. But even more importantly, who we choose to associate with, who we choose to listen to align our minds with, is so important. And we find that to be, the case in our business too. We if we were to associate with people that aren't driven, they don't have goals, they don't proactively go out to the community to help, to educate, to be there all hours of the night. I get calls 11, 12 o'clock at night. If I'm awake or if I'm not dead, I will answer that call.
I love that.
Because people need me. And if I'm not available when they need me, they're going to move on to the next person that is available. And so it's really important. Now, another question that comes to my mind is, with all these goals and dreams that we have, here comes this pandemic. It took the world by storm in 2020, COVID-19. And, it's just another flu. No, it turned out not to be just another flu. It really took out some people, unfortunately, and even some of my dear friends. But through a pandemic, and with that brought tremendous financial challenging times. So I ask you, because no matter, everybody that was breathing went through that time, and maybe still going through some of those times. What adjustments, what pivots have you had to make during those challenging times, even up to now, to continue to be successful?
Yeah, I think, like, one of the most important thing for an entrepreneur in general is, like, you need to have the skill to adapt to change, because change always happens. Look at what's happening now with AI. Oh, yeah. If you don't adapt to that, you're going to be left behind, right? Or before internet existed, or like there's always something that it's going to happen, or crashes in the market. Those things happen over and over and over. So one of the best skills is, like, you had to adapt to change, right? So in the pandemic, it was crazy, because, like, while everybody, was complaining, not working and all that stuff, we simply moved everything online, and we developed the skills to do it. I had some of my best financial months during the pandemic, and it was crazy because my business was all about traveling, in-person events, like doing presentation, like meeting with people, right. And all that was taken away. But we just simply moved everything, Zoom, online. We did online presentation like almost every day, and it was crazy because everybody was home. So everybody was looking for something to do from home. So we actually leveraged that, and our sales went up by a lot during the pandemic. And it was actually crazy because after the pandemic, it was harder to adjust. because when everything went back to in person, and people now are so comfortable working from home, but you had to adjust again, you know. So I think, like, you know, for us it was a blessing, because I mean, not that we like that what happened, but
sure,
it was just like a blessing because it taught us like how to adapt quickly to a change. And there's a lot of people that during that time they actually increase their revenue, you know. So we look at those, what are they doing, how do they do it, and we just move everything online. And thank God our business, you know, it's like global. We can work all over the world, so we were able to like keep it going in Italy and here and other countries. And we actually increased our sales. It was crazy.
Man, that's amazing. And you know, you said some key things there. Is you quickly made an adjustment. You said, okay, the world has shut down. Our area has shut down. Well, the internet didn't. Let's use the technology, use the tools to promote business. And I'm with you. We had tremendous years during that time as well. And many of our friends were very successful because they learned to transition their businesses that way. On the other side, those that did not transition well, many of them lost their businesses. They lost their livelihood because they could not figure out, or in some cases, maybe they were a little too lazy to transition to the internet, or resistant to use it. And you mentioned AI. I heard an interesting phrase the other day, actually a question. Mm-hmm. Someone asked me, John, will AI take my job? And you know, I heard one of the best responses. No, AI will not take your job, but the people using AI are going to take your job.
Yeah.
Right?
That is crazy.
So if we're resisting the technology and the tools that are available, or we're too proud, or we feel we're too old to learn those things, we're going to miss out. Yep. You know, AI's not the future. It's the present.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get better and faster.
And I just came back from Japan, and I've seen, like, you know, in Japan they're ahead of everybody. I've seen restaurant without any person working, all with the AI robots and stuff like that. And I'm
really?
Like, way. Like, yeah, I was working in the restaurant, and so imagine all the people that are not adapting to that change soon. I mean, I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but the robots do a better job than the humans. They're perfect. They don't do mistakes, you know?
Right.
So it's crazy to see. Like, we've seen a lot of stuff with, like, you know, robots, AI, and stuff like that in Japan. So it's pretty crazy, like, what's happening. So that's why it's very important to adapt to change and leverage that to your advantage. You know, we're already implementing AI to our business in many things that we're doing. So yeah, it's very important.
So when you were at the restaurant, you didn't see your Wagyu steak being delivered to the wrong table over there, right?
No.
Everything's perfect. Well, that's really insightful that you mentioned the use of AI. When it's properly used, boy, it can just skyrocket one's business. And, you know, I think about humble beginnings, where you started from, your story, and those from the days that we were chatting together on the beach there, wondering if we could ever make some money, and to now. You've always dressed really well, by the way, but look at you. You are dressed like a champion. Thank you. You have that mindset. We've heard you speak as a champion. Now I have a question. All of these things you've mentioned, and for those that will be listening to this, they may be wondering, well, Gio must just be a special person to have that championship mentality, to be successful. I could never do what he's done. There's just no way. Well, what advice would you have to those that may have that self-limiting belief that they cannot be successful? What advice would you have to them?
Yeah, one of my biggest advice that I talk about in all my training is that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you want to become great, right? Yeah. Most people, they're not ready to start. They're not ready to do something, and that's why they never take action, right? I wasn't ready. When you met me, like, I was a broke bus boy, no degree. How can I sell a $5,000 product? I've never been in sales, never done social media, but I just started. And I was terrible at first, but you learn by doing it, and you had to start at some point, right? And the most important thing is like to take the action when you're not ready. Because if you wait until you're ready, oh, right now is not the right time, I don't have the money. Well, you're probably never gonna have it if you keep doing the same choice, right? Yeah. Or I'm not ready mentally, I'm not in the place. You have to make yourself, you have to make it ready. You know, you have to decide when it's the right time. You got to make it the right time, right? So just take action even when you're not ready. And the most important things that I've learned too, like for me, like we were talking about this before, is the best way to achieve something is like find someone that who already has achieved that goal, and have them mentor you. So that it's not like a shortcut to success, because there's no shortcuts, but you know, the best way is to learn for something that already has what you want, and only listen to that person. Because a lot of people in your life will give you advice that they're not expert in those fields, and they do it because they think they love you, they're caring for you. They don't know they're doing a damage to you. Like my family told me like to not do that business. You know, all my friends told me, what are you doing? You're never gonna work, right? But I found people that had exactly the result that I wanted and the lifestyle that I wanted in that business, and I'm like, I'm only gonna listen to those people. That's one of the hardest thing to do. Because the people that we love, we want to listen to them. We care for them, you know, and we know they love us. So
they mean well.
They mean well. I mean, my mom cared for me. She wanted to protect me. She was afraid that, you know, and now she's like, oh, that's my son, you know, the best thing that ever happened to me. But I had to like go through like really hard times against my family will, my friends will. My friend made fun of me. Like the first couple of years were really, really hard. But I kept going anyway because I found those people, and I'm like, I'm only going to listen to them, and I'm going to get those results. And then everybody is going to be proud of me. I call this like the temporary damage to your image, you know. At the beginning, when you change, when you go after your goals, like nobody's going to understand, and everybody's going to try to put you down. And then when you make it, it's like everybody, oh my God, I knew you had it, you know, you're proud of you and all that stuff. But you have to go through that period where everybody's against you, you know, and you got to keep going and keep pursuing what we talked about before. That's the mindset, you know, of the champions.
Absolutely. Well, I truly appreciate that good advice. I'll take it to heart too. And I'm going to add one other tip that I personally view as good advice to be successful, and that's to wake up every morning intentional, to know your why. Both of us have new whys in our life. We have wives, we have our family now that, you know, it's not just us. Right. We don't just wake up, how am I going to care for myself? It's my sweetheart, my wife. How can I best care for her? Give her the security that's necessary. And then if children come along in the family, we know our why every morning, every night before I go to bed. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Why? Because of my wife. So I would add that as me personally. I love that. As my advice to be successful. Keep that mindset. Follow people like Giordano. You have truly done a great job with your goals, your dreams, and you have not let anybody talk you out of being successful. I'm so glad to have you here as not only my friend,
thank you,
but as a mentor, as an example of what you can be. If you dream it, you work hard for it, you can have it.
Thank you. I love what you say about, you know, having your why and how important it is. Because I always tell people, like, you can teach you the skills, we can teach you everything. There's only a few things that we cannot teach, and it's like the hunger, you know, the desire to be successful. Like, if you don't have that, nothing is gonna work. Because a lot of people have the information, they know what they supposed to be doing, but they don't do it, and that's something that is not teachable, you know. The hunger, the desire, the ambition. And that's why I always tell people, like, even if you don't have any skills, I don't care, as long as you're coachable, so you're willing to do what someone who has the result tell you. You're willing to do the work that it takes to be successful, and you're hungry. You know, because those are the only three things that we cannot coach in a human, right? So I always tell people, if you have those three things, any other skills will work with them, you'll succeed. If you have all the skills but you don't have those three things, like, you're probably not gonna succeed. So I just want to add that to what you said. That was really important advice. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And then how you added to that's so important. Well, we've got a lot more things to talk about. We're going to save it for our next podcast together. I'm excited for that already. Giordano Carretta from Italy, and now here in America doing great things. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.